Shout out to my divine feminine ladies. Should y'all be working with y'all Mars placement when it comes into finding success with relationship activity and the man that you are seeking in your life? All right. Now, we know this is a thing in astrology. A lot of you guys have done y'all studies and have been told that, your Mars placement has a lot to do with the type of man that a woman attracts in her birth chart. And I'm here to partially debunk that theory, guys. Okay. So first off, when we look at Mars, Mars represents our passions, our intentions. We know Mars has a strong individual nature, okay? And it has rulership over our desires. Now, I'm going to ask you a quick question before I continue to navigate this theory. You ever desire somebody? I mean, they had such an influence on your physical vessel and your chakras, and you knew if y'all got along, you'll do some things to them. But intuitively, all right, and logically, you knew they didn't possess the traits and the fundamentals to build a healthy relationship. Y'all see where I'm going with this? When it comes into relationship activity, love, and intimacy, we got Venus right there that represents those things, all right? We got the 7th house right there, okay, that rules one-on-one relationships, marriage, okay? Why lean on Mars? One thing about Mars is, yes, we can see a lot about what we may be attracted to simply because it also has influence on our sexual urges. But you have to understand, with Mars having such a grasp on desires, all right, that could be such a negative lead in relationship activity. I mean, guys, look at the houses Mars is home in. Mars is home in your first house, right? Your first house is your house, is your personal house, is your selfish house. Can't nobody tell you what to do in your first house, all right? How's somebody gonna tell you how to personally appear in the world, what your personal aspirations should be? Can't nobody govern that, okay? And then Mars is also home in the 8th house, your deep desires, okay? Now, this house does have a slight influence dealing with relationship activity, okay? More so the aftermath, the transformation that manifests in relationships, either after a breakup or after marriage, and how we get into a concentrated space emotionally digesting and processing these things, okay? But nonetheless, is dealing with our desires. Now, if you throw Mars into the Venus ruled houses, which is the 7th house, Mars struggles here, okay? Because it has such a individual nature. When it comes time to negotiate, relate, compromise, I know a lot of y'all don't be liking that word. I'm just realizing that, all right? I know damn sure Mars don't like that word. Mars ain't trying to hear nothing about no compromise, and that's exactly why it struggles in the 7th house, all right? So the fact that Mars struggles in the relationship house, I don't think that is a positive lead when it comes into relationship activity. Let's throw Mars into the 2nd house. Okay, this house is dealing with our values, our self-esteem. Okay, it's an earth house. We got to be steady here. Slow and steady wins the race. Go ask Taurus about their house. Okay, and we have to have some type of patience. So when Mars gets into this house, it brings this passion to build. However, it overrides the process of being patient and can cause a lot of turbulence, transforming things, instead of honing in on the process and seeing results come into fruition. So that disrupts a lot with cooperation, especially if you're building things with others. So Mars struggles in these houses that need cooperation, and specifically the relationship house itself. Guys, you need to work with your 7th house and your Venus when it comes into relationship activity. When we simply analyze the dynamic of Mars behavior in these areas and seeing how it struggles, that's already displaying Mars don't have the traits to sustain healthy connections when it comes into, partnerships, long-term commitment. This is simply why we could physically desire somebody, right? Whether it's a relationship, a situationship, a casual hookup or whatnot. And after that connection, we could feel unfulfilled from all the Venus and 7th house like influences, aka what is the value between what we just did? Where's the true connection at? Are we encouraging or uplifting each other in any type of way? If anything, I kind of feel depleted after that act. So we don't want to make things complicated, family, all right? We want to get back to that Venus and 7th house thing, all right? I've seen this influence just continuously create success when it comes into relationship activity, especially when one is intentional on how to work with it. Now, understand, when it comes into your Venus placement, you're already displaying your value in that area, or spiritually being encouraged to display your value in that area. And you doing that attracts a support system here. It attracts situations to be appreciated. So you need to understand the power of your Venus placement in general, especially with it correlating with finances. But we're talking about love matters right now. All right. You being intentional about pushing out your Venus energy in the house that it's in is going to do a whole lot to put you in an environment where love potential can start stimulating. Okay. Now, when we look at the 7th house, all right, we need to find that 7th house Lord, because wherever that planet is at in our chart, that's going to show us where relatability always flows, compatibility always flows. This is why you're going to develop a lot of friendships here too, besides intimate romantic relationships. You develop all type of friendships, soulmates in different type of shape or forms through mentors, coaches, friends, co-workers, colleagues, whatever it may be. But there's a good chance your twin, there's a good chance your soulmates is in these areas. Now, let's jump back to the example with Mars. The house that you have Mars in, you're pushing out your passion, your individual intention, and your drive for something. When you push those things out, you create obstacles. You will create an opponent. That's why your Mars house will have an adversary for you, because there needs to be some resistance when it comes into something that you're fighting for with a passion. When you got your Venus house, you're being appreciated here. You're being supported here. So they're working literally the opposite way. All right, guys. So we don't even have to deal with astrological spiritual influence to things. We could just simply look at the most common interaction in the world. You desire somebody, you don't care about the value that they bring into your life and the value you could bring into their life. You just want to indulge into the flesh. You just want to indulge into the physical activity, feed your desires, and that could end up being unfulfilled, and it could be very fast, quick, and a short experience. And that's usually how Mars moves. Mars is so passionate, excited, and driven towards manifesting and conquering its goals. It could give a damn about the experience. And I'm talking about the sexual experience as well. It could give a damn about fulfilling the other person when it comes into something dealing with a relationship experience. Mars trying to get its rocks off and get back to business. All right. Aries, Scorpios, y'all need to chill too. As a matter of fact, I'm not even gonna go there with you. I'm not even gonna drag y'all. But the Venus rule signs, they can't get down like that. They cannot get down like that. All right, especially like Taurus. You try to rush it with Taurus, they're gonna be like, slow it down. All right. This is why they like foreplay. If you haven't noticed, the Venus signs, they like kissing. They kiss a little too much. It's like, all right, can we get to the thing now? Okay. I don't know why I'm talking. I'm a Libra myself, but it's the anticipation. It's the buildup. All right. That connection energy. So just looking at all these different traits and dynamics when it comes into the houses Venus and Mars is home in, when it comes into what you attract when you push these energies out. All right. And them simply being the opposite energies. All right. They are opposite energies in the most literal sense. Okay. Venus rules Libra, Mars rules Aries. Venus rules Taurus, Mars rules Scorpio. All right. So they're already opposite in all natures. And I just want to bring some clarity to my ladies out there that are kind of invested into their Mars placement. Understand, your desires is not necessarily what needs to lead relationship activity and how you vet mates and prospects of all sorts. Work with that Venus. Work with that 7th house Lord. All right. Work with that 7th house influence in general. With that being said, I'm out of here, family. Peace.